Welcome to another episode of Talk That Talk. I'm with one of the great young greats in the game right now. She's
Oh,
basketball player by day, sports analyst by night. So she's low key like Superwoman, I guess you could say.
oh my
Like,
goodness. That's a big introduction right there. Superwoman. Most people just call me Ice, but that works too.
yeah. So how you been doing over this crazy pandemic time?
Oh, I'm good. I'm not gonna lie, normally after every basketball season, once it hits March, I feel myself needing that break because you just go so hard for so long. So I was looking forward to watching March Madness, being with my team, and then kind of taking that break. And so it started a little bit earlier than I wanted it to, but the break was definitely needed. Love being home, spending time with the fam, and doing some personal projects that you normally don't have time to do during the year and kind of got to wait to the summer. So I got to start those a little bit earlier. So I'm staying busy. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just maintaining, just like you, trying to keep working. I'm not I'm not saying not staying on top of what's going on with the pandemic, but I'm not like indulging myself in it like every day. It's to me,
Mhm.
it's a lot to take in on a regular basis. So I stay, up to date with it, but it's still, you know, a lot.
I
So
agree.
we're gonna start here.
Okay, let's
Is-
go.
Are you a washed up player, or do we still have some basketball left in you? Because we're going to year 7 now, right?
Year 7.
Are the knees still good?
They are. You know what? I went on a 20-minute run today, the farthest I've ran since August, I guess. Felt good. I've actually been looking at new schools to go to for my 7th year because I recently got that approved from the NCAA. So still looking to play. I just have this thing in me that needs to play.
Let's talk
It's
about
like
that thing.
yeah, it's like I'm a little kid. Inside I feel still young, still like I just want to go and play basketball for a year and just really enjoy the year. Let there not be a lot of pressures, like just focus on winning, building relationships, and enjoying the year. Being able to play free, my family to come see me play, hopefully injury free, but just to really enjoy the year. So I'm still searching for that, which is why I'm still trying to play in college. And then I always wanted to play overseas. So that has always been a goal of mine. So the real reason why I'm playing this year is to get the tape and the numbers that I need to have to get a good situation overseas. Obviously, if I go overseas, I want to, make good money, be in a good league, compete against some of the greats that are over there. And so, I need to have a good year collegiately this year to be able to have the resume that I need to go over there and be in a good situation.
We're gonna go back to the glory days early on. You were ranked 59th coming out of high school, right? You were 12th in the guards. How does that feel having that type of, I guess, as younger people would say now, clout coming out of high school?
Yeah, I would just say, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know,
You were
it's
feeling
never,
good. You had to be.
huh?
You had to be feeling good.
Yeah, you feel good. Absolutely. You feel good and you're going to a good school, committed to Florida that ends or right before my senior year started, feeling good. But once you're that high and you see the competition, right? If you're 12, you know who is 11 to number 1. And their level of play, either you played against them or you've seen their games, some of them on the West Coast, so you hear about them. And so you just know that you're that close, like that margin between, to me, 12 and 1 wasn't that far, especially, in high school. So, I think everyone has had a different path, obviously. And some of those that were 1 through 5 had the straight, play for 4 years, start for 4 years, continue to go. And mine was kind of up and down and in peaks and valleys and, a whole bunch of obstacles. But you feel good and you're just still striving to be the best. And I think at that time, what I love is I was just had so much fun playing the game. Once you get into college, that mindset really shifts because it's so much more. Your coaches are not coaching for fun. Like, this is their life. They got to make money. They got to support families. You getting an education, trying to start your life, finding who you are in college. So all that different dynamic just adds so much pressure above I'm just out here trying to play, trying to hoop, trying to win, you know?
So then at the end, you come to a spot where you have a season-ending career, right? So you're averaging like 20 points, 4 rebounds a game, and 3 assists. Like, where does that put you mentally? Because you're at the top of your game now, and now you have a season-ending injury. Like, what was your mental like at that time?
Yeah, it was tough. I remember when my dad told me that the doctor called and said I tore my ACL. And my dad was happy because, that was a common injury. He knew that I could bounce back. Players all the time bounce back from that injury. So in his mind, it was like, okay, we got a little rut in the road, but she'll be able to rehab and get back. And I think he was trying to be positive for me.
Right.
Whereas I was heartbroken. I mean, I just burst out crying. You would have thought I lost a family member. I was hurt.
It's tragic.
Yes, absolutely.
You're about to go to college. Like how else are you not supposed to feel? Like,
right. I was hurt. So, I think, after talking to my coach at that time at Florida, getting some reassurance from her, and just saying, okay, this is something I've never been through. That's going to be tough to get through. But I just got to get through it. And hopefully by the time that I get back to school, I'm in a good position where they can help me, really rehab and get back. I think that was one of the best things looking at it, was that I was getting ready to go to college. And so the end of my rehab, I was going to be at school, which meant I would have had really good positions, obviously a lot of one-on-one care with the trainer and the strength coach. So I would be in good hands. But I mean, I was devastated. I don't think anything like that I had ever been through. That was probably the first tough, real situation I had been through.
and when you tear your ACL, how long was your recovery process?
So mine was it took me 11 months to get cleared, and it took me 14 to feel like myself. I can remember the day where I was in practice and I had like a nice behind the back dribble and then a spin, and I didn't even think about it. Like, no thoughts, knee, balance, is there someone coming to hit me? Am I getting ready to take contact? Nothing. And I was like, okay, there we go. I think I'm back. I feel like me. So long time.
So now we push to Florida. Now you were there for 2 years. And just walk us through that experience. That's a huge school. I don't think you were used to playing around that many people. Like, how was that experience as a whole? And what did you really learn about yourself when you were in Florida? Especially moving from Jersey now to all the way down south in Florida now too.
Yeah. One, I learned that I really am a people person. I love people. So connecting with people, being able to talk to anyone was great. I think I learned the importance, when you're an athlete, you know discipline, you kind of know time management, because once you get to a certain level of playing, those things are just ingrained in you, right? I think I just learned more about what it really takes and where you're willing to push yourself. It's not so much about, because, give you an example, like in high school, my parents worked out with me a lot, so they were there to push. They were constantly there to push. Right, exactly. When you're in college, it's you. Like, how far are you willing to push yourself? And also, I really approached college like it was a business decision.
Sure.
Like, I'm here. I don't know these other girls. I'm just trying to hoop and beat out you. And so, to be honest, I wasn't always the nicest. I wasn't always the greatest teammate. I mean, I was very, I was very, business-like, and, basically like, we're cool at the end of the day, but I'm trying to play, right?
Ball?
Right. And so, exactly, right. So,
yeah.
You just have to learn that, one, it's a battle, you versus you. Every day it's you from yesterday, you from today. Who's going to be better? Who's pushing farther? What are you working on? You're constantly working on. Are you staying in the gym? I found that one of the things I'm very consistent at all my career is staying in the gym. I grew up that way. I've never went out of that. I can't. I know if I don't get a certain number of shots up a week or before a game, I'm just not going to feel prepared. And so, I was glad that some things were good habits that I created. But I think I just learned the importance of really being a good teammate and having the intangibles. That was something that me and my coach didn't agree with right away, because again, I was there to hoop. Like, I'm there for business. But I had to really learn that, yes, you're competing against the people around you, but at the end of the day, if you're making yourself better every day, you'll get to where you want to go.
And then also too, I think that that's a lot of pressure and a big adjustment from you going into high school, into a Division I school, a high D1 school like that as well too. So I mean, that's really a maturity thing. Not to say that you were immature, but just for all athletes as a whole as well too. It's a big adjustment. And I think
Absolutely.
some players just do it better and they make it look easy. So I think that helps, like, it makes the media think that it's really that easy to do.
Right. Or they grew up with that, all their lives. And so there isn't a big change for them. There's always been pressure or someone has always kind of made it seem like that. For me, I mean, there was no doubt in any teams ever that I was going to play. And so to me, there shouldn't have been a doubt that I was going to play once I got to Florida, as long as I got healed. But again, that's kind of settling in, maybe being humbled a little bit. But also, I think I realized for myself that I should have been on the court, that I thought I should have been on the court. And ultimately, like, that was the reason why I left Florida was, I think I should be playing and I'm not. I don't think this system is for me. And I want to be closer to home. And so, then I ended up at Syracuse, which to this day I say was the best decision of my life.
Oh yeah, well let's talk about that.
The Qs.
Yeah, let's talk about the Qs. You played under Coach Hillsman, great guy.
Yeah.
Most winningest coaches in his history. Super fly guy.
Super fly.
Glasses for days. How was it playing under him? He seems like he has a really good relationship, I would say, with his players. He seems like really the epitome of what a coach is supposed to be, because I think that when coaches are disconnected from their players, that's really where I would say things go left. It's not just about basketball. You can really talk to your coach off of the court. He helps you or she helps you with things in life. I feel like that draws the connection closer. So how was he as a coach for you, and like how was your whole experience at Syracuse?
Yeah, my experience for all 3 years was great. In terms of playing for Coach Q, everybody knows he's tough. He's a yeller. He's going to demand what he's going to demand. But when I first got there, he was very direct in, how he thought I could fit into the program and the ways in which I was going to play. And so that was very refreshing to me, because before that, I had been skeptical. I had gotten a coach that had gotten me there. I thought I had the talent to play and then didn't at Florida, right? So I need to go somewhere where someone's going to tell me the truth, shoot it straight, and I was going to be able to be like, all right, I'm staying in the gym. I'll be able to knock down shots and I'll get on the court. So he was very direct in that way. But one of the things that I will always thank him for is how much he worked with my schedule in broadcasting. Once I got into Newhouse that senior year, we had 8 a.m. days where we had to turn in packages or be in class very early, where normally that was during class time. And so, kind of letting me out early, making sure that he went over certain things first that were most important, so everyone was there who needed to be there, and then say, okay, Aish, you go ahead and leave. You already know the rest of the stuff. And so I always say that, a lot of coaches will deter you from studying what you want to study at certain places. They think that it doesn't go with practice time. I know a lot of girls who are pre-med, and coaches have kind of deterred them from that because it's so extensive. It's so many hours, and kind of how can we get you to be the best basketball player if you're putting all this energy into school, which is crazy, because again, we're there to get an education, but it's fine. Right. But, I was blessed to be in that position where Coach Q allowed me to do that. Anytime that there was a broadcasting thing, or me going to do a studio show after our first game, he's like, absolutely, I'm 100% for it. You do it. You're going to make a career out of this. And he would tell me all the time, like, you're good. So you go ahead and pursue that. You're going to be good. So, and that way, I mean, he was great.
How was it going on that NCAA tournament run? Obviously, your first year. I mean, not the first year, but the first time you guys went, you guys got kicked out in the first round, and then the second round. I mean, ironically, y'all beat Fordham that first time as well, too.
Yeah.
Was there any connection with that? Were you already looking at them like, I might be sliding that way, or was that
No, I think that was just luck. I know Bree Kavanaugh, their best player. She was player of the year this past year in the A-10. I played AAU with Bree, very close to her and her family. So I didn't know much about Fordham besides that Bree was there. Right. But I mean, going to the NCAA tournament is something that's amazing. To be able to go every year that I've been on a team, has been awesome, right? At Florida, at Syracuse. So it's just been a great experience. And it was tough. I think this past year that we were at Syracuse at last year, we could have made it to Sweet 16. We played a very good team, and I think it was South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits.
Dakota State.
And they kicked us out, but they had a really good game plan, and they made plays, and they had some good players. It's hard giving teams credit. I'm not going to lie, from the Midwest, because you really don't know them.
Right.
They're not big. They're not in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're hidden, so you really don't know. But they were some very good girls from the Midwest. So, but again, the NCAA tournament is an experience. It's tough to kind of end your career on that, because a Sweet 16 loss would have been so much sweeter than that second round. But be blessed with the fact that I was able to get there.
Now, what was the difference really between your play between your last 2 years? Why did it seem like you were more impactful I believe it was your senior year besides the graduate year? Like, what was the difference?
Yeah, I would say, that year in particular, Coach Q just thought that my defense was lacking that year. I did
year?
My senior year, yes. Yeah. And so, we play a 2-3. Sometimes we match up into man. We run presses. And I think he just thought that my defense was lacking more than it did the year before.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily agree. Of course, we're playing the same competition, and I'm playing good competition in practice, right? Going up against Tiana and Gabby's and all those people, Kiki's. So I think he just thought that my defense was lacking, and, kind of saw me as a liability sometimes with that. And so for that reason, I played less. And then, from there, just all the other numbers went down. The minutes went down, the shot attempts, the points per game. So that was kind of tough. And I didn't agree with that. But of course, like anybody else, you continue to work hard because you like the team. You like where you are. You're in the ACC, so you've guarded the best people in the country. I mean, I've guarded Enrique. I've guarded the Asia Durs. So my confidence wasn't shot by that. It was more of a challenge. But yeah, I think that would be the main reason. If, Coach Q was sitting right here and we were talking about it, that would be his answer, was the defense.
So if you could change one thing about your senior year, what would you have changed? That maybe you take accountability for, or you just would have just changed altogether?
You know what? I will tell you that, sitting next to Coach Tammy Reese and Coach Adni Amadou, and talking to them game in and game out about how I can play, different things that I'm noticing on the court between those that are playing, the different ways that I help my teammates. I think I became such a better leader, understanding that it was a coach's decision that I wasn't on the court, but that didn't mean that I couldn't help. And so I think anyone will tell you that year that I did just about anything in my power to help, still stay in the gym, still got shots up, still have my dad come to Syracuse and rebound for me and work me out, and still continue to give teammates advice during the game. Like, hey, listen, I'm not playing, but I can see this girl's over playing, go back door. So, I think that I grew in ways that I was that mature to handle, disagreeing with a coach, thinking I should play and I'm not, and knowing that I'm proven. Obviously I played the year before 20 minutes a game, basically like our sixth man. So I was proven to play and just wasn't, but that wasn't going to stop me from being better. And so I think that my basketball IQ grew tremendously from just talking to coaches constantly, figuring out what needs to be done once I get in the game for those maybe 7-8 minutes that I'm there and I can make a difference, and then helping my teammates who are playing the game. So, I remember one day I was talking to Tiana Moncahia, right? And, we were out and about, and she said, Ice, I really think that you should be playing, but I will say you have handled it better than anyone I've ever seen. And so that made the world to me, know that my teammates know that they want me on the court. They want to play with me. I'm not there, but I'm still doing everything I can to help them out.
Yeah, I think that makes you even more Superwoman for that too. Nah, for real, I think that's dope, because when you're passionate about something like that too as well, it's tough with it being your senior year, and the things that you're trying to do. So, I mean, at that moment, I'm not sure if you still wanted to play after that. It's still hard to handle, especially sometimes when you're a competitor. and you know you're better than somebody, that's tough. But you were more mature about it, which leads us to you being a fire broadcaster now. See what I'm saying? So I guess you really transition your energy into that. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how you just really balance your graduate year, and like, how did you always wanted to be in broadcasting? Like, is that something that you just felt gifted about? Like, how did you get into broadcasting?
Yeah, so I tell everyone, when I was transferring to Syracuse, it was strictly a basketball decision, right? I just wanted to play in a Power Five conference, and play good minutes and make an impact. It's a basketball decision. Knew that was a good school, obviously, but that wasn't the focus. And so my undergrad was in basic communications. And when I got there, I had told our academic administrator that I wanted to be like a spokesperson. I would say I could be a spokesperson for Coke. I really like public speaking. I think I have a good personality for it.
Coke?
Yeah, I said, for Coca-Cola, like I make it. Yeah, I said I'll just go around the country, or Nike, and present different things, and I think I'd be good at that. Say it again.
I definitely can see you working at Nike.
Oh, thanks. I like that. Everyone I've met that works at Nike is great. I swear. But yeah, so that's what I said. And then he said, well, we have Newhouse here. Never heard of a Newhouse. Don't know what that means at that time. We have Newhouse here, who is, they produce a lot of really good sports broadcasters, some of the best ever, ones that you see all the time. And that might be a good option for you. So I said, okay. So I gave it some thought. And then the end of the year that I sat at Syracuse, I started this YouTube channel, called it the Icebox, which is like my little show because everybody calls me Ice. And started the YouTube channel, and I interviewed one of my teammates, Abby Grant. She's the first person I interviewed. I actually recorded it twice because I did it the first time and then showed Olivia Stomsky, who was the director of sports media at the time at Newhouse. Right. Because I had really tried to get into it. Like I was spent time in Newhouse, wanted people to introduce me, really wanted to see how I liked it. And so I showed her, and she said, you've got some talent, but you need to redo this. Some things need to be a little bit different, change the camera angle. And after I finished that first interview that I did twice, it was over. It was over. I just said, oh, this is for me. This is for me. I remember sitting up at night, talking to my friend at the time about, oh my gosh, the Icebox, and we can do this with it. And then I can have a little graphic that has this. And I just lit up. It was over. I was in love. So, did a little bit of broadcasting. The year that I played a lot, that I think it was 17-18 year. And then, got into Newhouse. I remember getting the email on the bus, and I cried. And everybody knew that I cried. Oh my goodness, I cried. Yes, I cried. Well, first of all, I'm a very high emotional person. Anything that is great, if someone graduates, I will cry for them. Yeah, I'm just a very high emotional person.
So you just be crying.
Huh?
You just be crying.
Yes. So I got this email and started crying on the bus. I remember I was with my team. We were going to dinner, and I told Ollie, which was our academic advisor, who had told me about it. And so everyone's like, wow, Isis, like, you're on a good track. This is great. I'm ready to on. By that time, I had known a lot of the professors, had done some ACC network stuff, so was kind of already familiar, and just kind of set some goals for myself. One, to take everything I can out of class, to get a lot of reps, whether it's in news or sports. I'm not a huge fan of news. Like I said, I'm a very emotional.
Yeah, one more time.
I'm not a huge fan of news.
Okay.
I applaud those who can do it, but I'm just a very emotional person. So I know I could not talk about corona and deaths every day and not break down on the news. I just know I couldn't. So I stay in my lane. I stay with sports because you can get emotional in sports. Everybody gets emotional in sports.
You're a crier, so you're going to be up at the desk crying every day.
Exactly. That's funny you say that because I think about one of my goals is to call the Olympics, or to do like WNBA finals and the team win. And I see a player that I've seen and known for a while and try not to cry with them. Yes. Oh my goodness. Or maybe I'll be that broadcaster's note for that. Like, Isis is so passionate. She will cry with you while you celebrate. But yes.
This is for everybody. So I think it.
There you go. But yes, I've been trying to work on it though, because I really did get so happy. But yeah, so just really took that year by storm. I did everything I possibly could. I really learned what no sleep looks like. I really learned with managing. I thought I had time management, and then it got to a new level when I really had to manage, 10 minutes to eat here, 15 minutes to nap in the car here, take a breath here, and just, look at certain things, send emails, still manage to network. One of the biggest things I did during that time, obviously our men's basketball team brings in great broadcasters like the Maria Taylors, the Jay Billises, the Sean McDonoughs. So, when they were coming to games, to call Syracuse Duke game, figuring out when the men's basketball practice was, talking to the SID to see if I could just sit in and watch the practice so I could meet Maria Taylor and Jay Billis while they're talking to players at shoot around, having the chance to meet them and network with them. And now I'm on the first name basis with Jay, and that's my dude. Have emailed Maria and have talked to her, and she's great, and got some tips from her. So I also became a super networker. After that, anytime there was a speaker or someone that I knew I could meet and connect with, I did that. And Newhouse is great and known for that, known for bringing great speakers back. And so, yeah, I did everything I possibly could, got everything out of that year, and really set myself up to, kind of be ready for the next year, which I didn't know was going to happen, but yeah.
So then you, calling you Superwoman. So you a game that you finish playing, and then you get dressed and you're running to go work and be an analyst. Walk us through that crazy experience of you playing and within minutes being at the desk.
Ooh, talk about crying. That was one of the few
You cried that day too.
That was one of the few experiences where I didn't cry until I sat down and thought about my day.
Okay.
I had thought, before the game, I'm trying to be super focused with the game, but, not gonna lie, I was doing prep the night before, right? I'm prepping for the men's team and the halftime show and the pregame that I was doing for them. I'm prepping for our team, make sure that I know our scout and the different players. And then, you wake up and it's like a double game day, and you're like, yo, this is gonna take a lot of energy. Like this is gonna be long. But I mean, I got so much support from that day. I mean, I'm a person that talks to a lot of fans before the game. I get out there really early and get all my shots up. So as they're filling in, what's up, Ice? How are you? Giving high fives and stuff, taking pictures. And a lot of people knew about the game. Just said, oh my goodness, we're so excited to see you later. We're going to rush home to see it on TV, which just made my day. So that was just a great experience. It was something that, from what Newhouse tells me, no one has ever been able to do. They've never documented anyone doing that or seen anyone else across the country doing that. So that was kind of like, whoa, I might be first here. And then, just finishing the game and having to switch gears. Didn't play the best that day, not going to lie. Missed a decent amount of shots. But I think I played good defense, knocked down a 3. We won, which is most important. You got season opener too, so it can go a little bit haywire sometimes. And then after that, just calming down. I really just had to calm down. My nerves were here. And so once I got to the desk and I was dressed, I just had to breathe. Like, I remember sitting and breathing and kind of praying and breathing and looking at Professor Stomsky, who's walking me what you're going to do. And she's looking at me and she can tell that I'm like, she's like, breathe. I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down. I need you to breathe. Like, you're here. You made it. You look great. Let's have a good show. Yeah. So, and then working with Drew Carter, who probably is my favorite to work with at Newhouse. Drew, just a professional now, spent his first year at a news station in Alabama and did great, won a whole bunch of awards already. So, just working with him, a professional who's a friend of mine then, and he's able to calm me down and say, Ice, we got this. Like, this is going to be good. So it was just an experience like no other.
So it sounds to me like you were a cheat code because you played on a team. Well, you didn't need the SID. You were the SID. And you just finessed it in every way possible. Like, really break that down for us and tell us how you knew you was cheating.
That's funny. Oh, I would just say that I remember talking to the head of athletic communications, Sue Edson, and, asking her if I could always ask the SID about going to shoot rounds to meet the broadcasters. And she said to me, Isis, people love to help those who help themselves. She said, you literally do everything that you can do in your power to get whatever you need out of Newhouse, out of Syracuse Communications, out of everything. So everyone here wants to help you. Whatever you need, we are going to help. And so I really just learned that people take heed when you're working and grinding and hustling and not getting hours of sleep, but you're there every day studying, doing the work that you need to do. They want to help. And so I think if that's a cheat code, that would be the way that I cheated, was just that I had a lot of help. I had a lot of people who wanted to support me, be there for me, see me do well and get to the next level. And it's because of them that I got so good, because I had so many different opportunities to work on my crafts. I worked sideline for a lacrosse game. Had I ever watched a lacrosse game? No. Had I ever played lacrosse? No. Do I know someone that plays lacrosse? No. But I had to study, had to take some notes, sat with somebody, watched the game, and they explained lacrosse to me, and was able to do that. And I got that opportunity because they know that I was going to work hard, I was going to study, and that I was going to be good. And so I would say that's my little cheat code, is I want to help myself, and everyone there between Syracuse Athletic Communications and Newhouse wanted to help me.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but tell me about a couple of mentors that really stuck out for you while you were at Syracuse. If you could give me a few. I don't want you to leave anybody out, but give me a couple of people that were, prominent for you.
Yeah, first, Professor Stomsky, Olivia Stomsky, just, my goodness. I mean, I remember going into her office when I wasn't even a Newhouse student, and saying, hey, I'm applying to the grad program. I want to do some things here or there, when I was a senior. And she's sitting down, helping me, going through information. Mind you, I'm not a Newhouse student, so you have no incentive to help me whatsoever. I'm just some girl who plays basketball, who never took a video class, but is looking at this, producing this video for you right now. I remember doing, some on-camera stuff with Boeheim's Army in the summer. Which I connected through with Syracuse Orange and the basketball team. And so I remember sitting with her and saying, what do I wear? Like, what is the do's and do nots? What should my makeup be? And I mean, she gave me everything on the list, like no patterns, no stripes, no white, not too much black, this and that, no glitter, just everything that you wouldn't even have thought about. And so she was first. I mean, she really gave me kind of the foundation I needed to say, okay, if I want to present myself like a broadcaster and really start to be professional, she gave me the game plan, the blueprint to do it. Next, I would say Sue Edson in athletic communications, and Olivia Cairo. Both of those two. So Olivia was our women's basketball SID. So I worked closely with her about media stuff. Sue Edson, obviously the director of athletic communications. So when it came to, trying to get to men's basketball practices or shoot-arounds so I could meet those broadcasters, that was something that she suggested. She connected me with Elise Noonan, who works at NBC Sports. So just the networking, the sheer networking that she let me do, and meeting so many of these people who walked through Newhouse, who were in the positions that I wanted to be, or people who I needed to know. And then the ACC network, Scott Heck and Kristen Hennessy, just completely believed in me, believed in all my talent, wanted me to do everything. They suggested that I do lacrosse and do the sideline because they knew that I would be able to study it and be good at it. And I loved it. I did a lot of soccer games too while I was there as an analyst for soccer. So I worked with them like on the broadcast. So both of those two just helped tremendously. And then lastly, Matt Park. Professor Park is tough. Not gonna lie, he's tough. He will tell you when you stink. And when he's never seen that be so horrible ever in his life.
Oh, wow.
But he will also tell you when you're getting better. And when here's where you can turn the corner. Here's where you can start to get out of that, oh, she's a rookie thing. She's not a rookie. She's a professional. And so I would say that group of people, there is plenty more, but that core group of people right there really helped. And then lastly, our AD. Our AD, I super close with, like a mentor, which you would never think an AD takes time and spends time with you. But our AD is amazing. It's amazing. The producer at ESPN for 30 years, so he knows what it takes. He knows I'm good. I talk to him frequently. So, amazing.
All right, so then you push over to doing work with the Rising Media Stars. Tell me how that helped you really get a lot of reps, and which is actually founded by LaChina Robinson. So tell me how it was working alongside her, meeting her, and just even with you working alongside with Zora Stevenson as well, I believe her name is.
Yeah.
And, with her working at the Milwaukee Bucks now as the new sideline reporter. Just break that opportunity down for us.
Yes, that was amazing. I met LaChina because she called our Duke game, and that was probably the best game of my career. I had a career high 16 points, had 4 threes in the first half,
It was hot.
4 for 8 from the court. Yeah, I always lighten them up. I just start off hot, and it just kept going. But yeah, I played a really good game. I had 16 points in 15 minutes. So I think that helped a lot. And when I reached out to her for broadcasting, she was like, "Oh no, this girl can hoop. Like, I've seen it. I've seen her best game. She can hoop."
Definitely gonna help.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, went up to her and met her before the game because I knew that she's a great broadcaster. Obviously, China has been everywhere. Everyone loves LaChina. They say the same things about her, that she's dedicated, she's genuine, and she is all of that and so much more. Great mentor. And so, heard about her program through Liv Caro, again, our SID, one of my mentors. And she, I applied online, got in again, cried. Because I knew it was going to be a big opportunity for me to get everything that I needed out of it in terms of getting close to LaChina, being able to get those questions answered that only a women's basketball analyst who has been in it for so long can answer, right? There are certain things that a class just can't teach you. And so getting to work with her, working with the other 4 girls in the program, some of them are big names that will be big basketball names. Obviously, Zora Stevenson, right? So when she was there, she was in Denver working as a news anchor, news reporter, great news reporter. But she kept trying to get into sports. This last year finally got there. And now I'm sure she'll be in the NBA for a while working as a sideline reporter. She's fantastic. She's great. She's credible. And she loves what she does. Andrea Carter played at Tennessee, McDonald's All-American, now works in the SEC, moving up to that studio position, calls a lot of games. She's been on some really big stages, so big names. And then, so just working with them as a group during classroom sessions and learning about different things that LaChina can teach us that we won't learn from a class. Being able to report at live events like the Atlanta Dream, Atlanta United, which for anyone who knows, Atlanta United MLS soccer is the biggest. I mean, they have 70,000 fans who are there.
It's a lot of fans.
Every game. Yes, every game. They have the highest attendance. So actually being Rising Media Stars and taking tape and LaChina standing next to you, listening to you, critiquing you, saying, okay, let's run it back, see if you can implement some of my feedback and let's see how it goes. I mean, there's no experience like it. And then, of course, being in Atlanta. So then I got the real feel of kind of being professional, right? Flying out to a place, prepping for a game, covering it, seeing different reporters, still being able to network that way, and then getting the best feedback I could get from LaChina. And now she's by far my closest mentor. I mean, anything basketball broadcasting related, I run through her. Anything. And she's available all the time. I talked to the other day for an hour about life. I just called to check on her because now we're that close where it's past broadcasting and it's really, how are you doing? How's the family doing? So that experience was great for me. I just am so proud to be a Rising Media Stars graduate. I tell everybody that, it's really a family atmosphere. And, we were the inaugural class. So the first ones that go through it, she put her heart and soul into us because it was her first, we're her babies. But I mean, it did a lot for my career and it gave me a lot of good tape, but just learned so much from the experiences.
Yeah, so I really feel like that's a beautiful thing, especially with you being in the position you're in. Do you think that, or have you ever really thought about creating your own organization for the next ISIS that's coming up behind?
Oh my goodness!
Deep into it, yeah.
Yes, so I have a whole idea of this.
Sure you do.
Yes, I have a whole idea of this company that I want to do. This company that has different branches has like an apparel side to it, a mentorship side, a scholarship side. I have the idea because I really loved what LaChina did, and I saw how needed it is. And just especially, I mean, the 5 that were in our class, including me, were all women of color. And so for us to get into sports broadcasting and say you have played, which, a couple of the girls in our group didn't, it's hard and it's tough. And so, yeah, exactly. So, I had kind of direct access, right? You played for Syracuse, you were good. You meet LaChina at your game, you can kind of get right into it. So it was just needed. It was so needed. And I love mentorship. I love my mentors so much. I've gained so many more from that experience from Syracuse. And so I just can see how, getting into an industry, an area where you don't know much, your parents don't know much, and you need mentors to kind of baby step you into that. So I just kind of want to be that for somebody, a couple people in the future. So I definitely have an idea, definitely want to do it because I just know my mentors are dear to my heart. So I'm hoping I can, give back once I get to the level that I want to get.
Well, listen, the world is waiting on it. I think that's going to be a great thing. I know you're going to impact some young Black women as well too. So now you're leaving Syracuse now. You're doing a great job, and you get down to Florida, right? Playing ball, doing your thing. Then we have another injury. Now you're crying for real. We thought you was crying before. You're crying for real now.
Oh my goodness.
I kept that on the DL for you.
Yeah.
And just tell me, I mean, obviously I know some of the emotions, but really just walk me through what's going through your mind now, because you want to be a broadcaster, but you came here to play ball as well. So where do we go from here?
Yeah. I was devastated.
Tell us how it happened.
I just, first couple weeks of practices, I mean, it's still August, so very, very early, or maybe, first week of September. And I had just come down on my knee once in practice getting a rebound. I hyperextended it. It hurt a little bit, but not much. I kind of was out for the rest of the day, icing it and getting treatment, playing a couple of days later, and it just didn't feel the same. And then one time it gave out on me. And I was just like, we need to go to get this checked out. And so, going into it, I thought maybe I strained a ligament or something because I was still playing fully. I mean, I was playing on this thing, and it just kind of was giving out every now and then. And then, the doctor told me I tore it, and I just went straight to, and so he said that right after. He said, I know this is tough. You're on your 6th year, in that it's amazing that you were able to get the year. And then to have this injury, if you want to play, we can kind of give you an option to try to play on this torn ACL throughout the year. We can rehab and see if you're ACL dependent, because I guess some people are, and they don't have to play on them, or they don't need them to play. If you're not, we're going to have to get a full surgery, which means you're out for probably a year because this is your second one on the same knee. He said, but I know you have a bright, bright future in broadcasting. I've heard all about it. And so, maybe that softens the blow. And I think what I just thought, I don't even know. I wasn't mad that he said that. Broadcasting has created some issues for me in that because I am good at it and I take it so seriously, and, others know that I'm a rising star, so to speak, which others' words, not mine.
Right. It's okay if it's yours. It's fine.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, because, I'm kind of a rising star, people think that I don't take basketball as seriously anymore because I dove so much into this. Yes, I've gotten that plenty of times.
Well, maybe you just have a new passion.
Well, why can't you just have 2 passions?
I mean, yeah.
Right. And so, sometimes it's hard for me when people say that, I got a whole bunch like, well, you're a great broadcaster. Just go into broadcasting. Okay. Well, I also am still a good basketball player. Like, I'm just hurt, but I'm also still a good basketball player.
You off from being a basketball player already.
Right. Yeah. I can still play the game and enjoy the game at a very high level. You know, I just came from playing at the highest level, no problem. So, I always kind of get that with people, which it's great, right? I say I have plan A1 and then A2. And so, you know, I was devastated, but I cried about it. I cried on the train back from the doctor's office. I got in my room, you know, I told my coach what happened. And then I sat down and I just wrote out my options. You know, I said, if I get full surgery, I'm out for a year. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to broadcast like crazy. If, you know, I try to rehab, I'm just focusing on rehab, not going to do any broadcasting, really see how this thing goes. You know, I want to play overseas. So, you know, if I get, and then that was the other thing, if I don't get surgery, I got to get it eventually, because you eventually got to get it repaired. So wrote out all my options, and, you know, my coaches at Fordham came and saw me, and teammates were super supportive. But remember, it's tough for them because I'm brand new. You know, I've only been there for 2 weeks. They don't really know me. So I'm having this, you know, tragic knee injury again, just got here, was going to be a big player for them. And so everyone just went through a lot. I think everyone was a little devastated. So I just decided to get, you know, full surgery, and I just was going to go 100% at broadcasting. I said, we're going to have to pass the time because I don't know what basketball looks like after this. You know, my parents were hoping that I was still hopeful, but at that point, I just kind of felt a little defeated. I was like, I'll get through rehab. It's fine, because I told myself that rehab as a basketball player is different than rehab as a regular person. You know, we don't have to go full out 100% if I just decide that I'm going to sit behind a desk or walk the sidelines of a game for the rest of my life and broadcast. So, but, you know, the athlete in me just is not at rest. I just continue to go through rehab, and I'm playing games and just thinking like, dang, I would have done this. Or why didn't she add a little bit more or something, you know? And so I just realized that I'm just not done playing. Just not done. But the year allowed me to get so much broadcasting done. It was crazy.
That's wild. Like, that really is crazy. So now that the year is over, how many games have you called this year, would you roughly say? I'm gonna guess at least 35.
35. Okay. I was going to say between 40 and 50. Only because I did ESPN Plus for Florida men's and women's basketball. Okay. Manhattan College. I did men's and women's sideline reporting. Columbia, women's basketball. I called games for them. I did a game for Fairleigh Dickinson University. And then I also did radio for men's and women's basketball at Fordham. We were on the road. So I did a lot. I mean, there were weeks where I was doing 4 games. I remember once I had men's basketball on Wednesday, sideline for Manhattan College on Friday, and then sideline again on Saturday. And that was a week.
Sleeping with your eyes open.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was sleeping with prep. Like, let me figure out who this best player is. But yeah. Wow. It was a grind. You know, look, the goal is to eat. So you can't complain when you got a lot on your plate, because the goal is to eat.
You said you wanted a seat at the table.
Feel me?
Yeah.
That was it. So I was on a mission and had fun doing it. I mean, it was a lot, but I just know, like, I was like, when you finish this year, like, you have the reps to really get into the lane that you want to get into and start off somewhere decent. Like, you have the reps to do it. You know, you're still getting feedback from mentors, still sending tape and stuff. You know, was able to do Syracuse, Georgia Tech women's game at Syracuse, which was a dream come true that only took less than a year. You know, I remember leaving Syracuse and talking about broadcasting. So I just hope I can come back and broadcast some games on ACC Network. I just hope they let me do it. I hope I'm good enough soon. So to do that with Beth Mowins, of all people, oh my goodness. Talk about Superwoman. Talk about a GOAT. Just sitting next to her and working with her. I'm looking at her and I'm doing the game like, what is she doing? Okay. I'm trying to learn, trying to call the game, you know? So yeah, just, the year was amazing. Honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. And, you know, God knew what he was doing. He had a plan. I just had to sit in and you know, follow the plan, follow the path.
Yeah, you definitely said something real key right there because I remember we were talking when you found out you got injured, and we were just saying to each other like, "I'm not gonna lie, Ice, you may not want to hear this, but this might be it.
Yes,
Every
yes.
setback is a setup for the comeback, so you might turn it up this year, and you turned it up." So, I mean, big props to you. Yeah, I can't. Proud of you. I think you did great things this year, so it was definitely good to see you moving like that. It was good, and you impacting a lot of people. You definitely are. More do you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So you're saying now you're gonna consider going overseas now after this school year, or do you know exactly which team? Do you have any workouts set up? What's next with that?
So, in terms of my knee, I should be cleared August, September.
Okay.
I got approved for a 7th year from the NCAA because last year was
Everyone
basically
got
like,
that year back, so you get it back too.
yeah, so I get it back. Yeah, because of the medical red shirt. So, exploring right now my options to play in college. Fordham sadly cannot go back because they don't have any more scholarships this year.
Okay.
They have a ton of people that they recruited to come in, a lot of really good freshmen, so just don't have any more scholarships. Otherwise, I would have stayed there and been extremely happy. So, looking for a new team to play that, same deal with Fordham, close to home, good in their conference, has a chance to win, where I'll be able to play big minutes, make an impact and have a good resume so I can go overseas. I've gotten some calls about doing some games, like for ACC Network or some other conferences next year. And so, really just waiting until I fully 100% decide what I'm doing. But I'm, I would say 80% leaning towards playing. I just, again, I feel like that little kid that just still has that passion to want to play. And I feel young, and rehab is going great. I feel good. So I just want to play. I want to give it 2 to 3 more years where I can play in college, hopefully play overseas for a couple seasons, enjoy it, travel the world, have that experience, and then say, okay, I'm going to sit down and now work and have a career. That's the plan. That's the plan. I think I've just learned. I always laugh when people say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. That have really just has sunken into me. I just completely understand that from everything that I've been through, all the ups and downs and different schools and different obstacles and different injuries. My plan was straightforward, right? Like, in the beginning, choosing Florida. Okay, I'm going to play at Florida for 4 years. I'm going to be, an 1,000-point score at least. We're going to get to the NCAA tournament and make some noise. And then I'm going to go to WNBA. I'm going to play overseas. And I'm going to be a spokesperson for Coke after I finish. Like, that was the goal. That was it 6 years ago, And now things are just completely different. 2 big scars on my knee. A career waiting for me that I could step into anytime, but still wanting to play hasn't changed. So just thankful that, whatever I continue to go through, I continue to get stronger, but I just really understand that God has the plan. You just really got to sit back, trust him, keep it moving, and constantly put trust in him for real.
So here's the last question for you. Let's just say hypothetically, you don't get hypothetically, you don't get a call from a school that you're okay with playing at. Are you good with going full-time sports analyst?
Yes.
You're good with that?
I am. I am, and I will tell you why. Because this past year allowed me to do that and still be in school.
Right.
I feel like that was the trial one. Like, God was saying, okay, you think you love this. Let's see you do it full time, 2 to 3 times a week, and manage school and still be on a team and see if you really still love it and have the passion to do it. And I can honestly say, because, it was a tough time balancing playing in the ACC and then doing Newhouse grad school, right? But a tough time and going to a new school that you don't know, still getting a master's degree from Fordham's business school, which is a very good school, a very good degree, broadcasting full time, and still being at school and then rehabbing a knee injury for the second time. Like, we talked about time management before. Time management times 3 was this past year for me.
About Superwoman before.
We talked what? We need to talk about God. That was it. I'm telling you. So I just know I finished this year and I said, yo, if I can just sit and broadcast, and that is all I do is sit and broadcast, I would be happy. Like, I would be happy. I could see myself studying the game, studying people, trying to do different things, being innovative, creative, making sure my icebox is on and popping every week. If I can sit and do that every day, I would be happy. So I know that that was the blessing in disguise, was God really trying to give me this trial run of, here's your passion, here's what you love, here's what it would look like on a crazy scale. Then you know that when you start to do it and you're no longer in school, no longer rehabbing a knee injury, you'll be able to do it. It'll be dialed back. It'll be dialed back. That's not saying other things won't happen in life, other things will be crazy, but that's just saying that I know that my passion and doing just my passion will bring me that much happiness. I know. So I trust in that.
Well, Isis, I'm happy for you. You're doing big things. You're impacting a lot of people, like I told you earlier. A lot of people watching you. Just continue to grind. And as you can see, the world is your oyster. You're going to continue to do great work. So just keep making us proud, man. Definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah, it's a wrap, guys. Talk that talk with Isis. This was a great episode, and we're definitely going to have her in again when she's doing some more big things.